everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Smashing Skull Sessions. This week, I'm absolutely privileged to welcome a band who I've been following, almost chasing down really for the last 5 years. This is a band who hail from Roda De Ter in Catalonia, which is in the Barcelona province, I'm assuming. They go by the name of BLAK, BLAK, for all of you who are unaware of them. To describe their music, I suppose they're a heavy instrumental rock band with huge cinematic soundscapes, and they create a sort of classically influenced sort of emotive journey is all I can say really at the moment. I've written reviews about these guys. I show their work on Instagram. I share their albums. So anyone who's been listening or looking in on me will know my love for this band. So can I just welcome Eloi and Carles. Lads, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time out. As I said, I'm a bit of a fan of your music.
Thank you for having us.
No problem at all. I suppose before we get started, I just wanted to say personally myself that like there's bands out there that sort of come along for me, because I love music, you know, but there's bands come along maybe once every 10 years that I can say have had a huge influence on me. Going back from the 80s, you had Iron Maiden, who I lived and breathed. Then in the 90s, the early 90s, I sort of fell in love with Anathema. Serenade's album came out and blew my mind. And then I found post-rock maybe 12 years ago. And obviously, fellow Irish guys, God is an Astronaut, led the way. You know, I was absolutely obsessed. And then came 2017, and Between Darkness and Light came out. And, you know, it's hard to explain what music can do to a person personally, you know, but it just blew my mind, that album did. So just a huge thank you for releasing that record. And
thank you.
You know, my plan is to see you live at some stage. That's my plan for 2020 or 2022. Sorry. So hopefully we'll get there at some stage. So can I just start maybe, guys, with the band? How did you originate and how did you get together?
Oh wow. Okay. The thing is, what we already knew us before previous bands. We were playing like metal, new metal, more extreme metal. Carlos was playing, and we knew us. But for myself, I was always by my side doing instrumental music at home on my computer, but never thinking about releasing this stuff. So for me, it was to have a band. It was to have this, trying to make it as a musician. At that time, it looked like I had to do more commercial stuff, more mainstream stuff. But at the same time, I realized that at home I was all time trying to do instrumental stuff. I guess it was the thing was moving me emotionally at that moment. So when I finished the band, we ended with the band we had at the moment, I found myself without nothing. And I said, maybe it's the time to try to make of all these bunch of songs I have on my computer to make something. Okay. So at that moment, I talked to the other Eloi, and he said, "Okay, let's try it." And I know that Carles, he could join us and try to do something. So that's how it started, but not as a band, because I think the first motivation we had, it was more at the creative point. So let's try to create. Let's try to go a song at a time. We do a song, we release it. We see what happens. We didn't have expectations about it. We just wanted to create. From my side, I was a bit tired to always expect to release something and to see the reaction of people, to see if we could be able to go to play somewhere, to see if we could get a label. I was so tired of this, because it's really hard. It's really hard for the band trying to make it. And then suddenly find myself doing music that I knew that it was kind of alternative. I mean, kind of underground. It was. There's not a scene in here, actually. I mean, I'd say that the majority of my friends don't know this genre. They don't know post-rock. Okay. You say instrumental music, maybe they think classical music, but...
That's interesting, yeah. Because that was something I was going to ask you after. I mean, there is a few Spanish post-metal, post-rock bands, instrumental bands, but it's not a big scene. You know, as you said, like, it's not. I mean, so you're immediately going into an area where
And we don't live in the big city. I mean, we don't live in Barcelona. We live like 1 hour away. And for us in here, it's a kind of a lot because people from Barcelona who may be inside the post-rock scene, they will never come or will be so hard to make them come in here to see you live. Yeah. So, but it's not, that's not the point. It's not that we, I mean, I don't complain. It's okay. The thing is that I think we didn't care at that time. We wanted to create. Let's create, let's release it. And by release it means to put it on Bandcamp. Yeah. That was all. Maybe to create some visuals around, maybe to some stuff around at other creative level. But that's all. That's how it started.
So it wasn't a plan to get a band together and release an album. It was literally just to get music out there. That was it, was it?
That was... Actually, I don't know if I really think it through. I mean, we said, let's record it, let's release it. And the funny thing is that, and that's what changed everything, is that like, 1 month after maybe to release, or maybe a little bit more, Pierre from Elusive, they contact us. He heard the song. He said, he really liked the song. And he asked if we had more to do an album. And we said, no. That's all we got.
Can you play that on repeat maybe a few times?
Well, and then he said, but you could make more? I said, well, yeah, I think so. If we got to the one where we can do more, we have more ideas. Yeah. So that's how we started. And let me take this opportunity to say that I think that we own a lot to them, because in a way, if it wasn't for them at that moment, from Elusive, I mean, I think we could have followed another path. I don't know if better. I don't know, but we wasn't thinking as a band at that moment, at that point, and they helped us to build the band that we are right now. Yeah, and to, I don't know if you think that was somehow how you went about.
Because as Eloi said, we were very tired. We came from different bands, but we have the same sensation. We didn't want to put out albums. We didn't want to wait for labels to give us the okay to put up the album. So we wanted just to make music. But Elusive were very kind, and they proposed this kind of deal. But that for us was very, very interesting and good.
It was one of those amazing things, really, wasn't it? I mean, one track. And to have Elusive come to you, I mean, it's like it was meant to be, you know. This marriage between the two of you, like.
At a point, I remember Peter from Elusive saying to me that he was feeling that it was a kind of a crazy move, because they signed us without only knowing one song. So it's not that we had a background where you could know if you see our background. No, that's not. My previous band, I was doing metal rock mixing with Japanese instruments, Japanese traditional instruments, and you were doing kind of
death metal.
So it's not that our backgrounds were. Well, I don't know, but the thing is that it worked out, and and for me, what was most incredible is not that, of course, that to get to sign with a label at the stage for a band, this is something normally doesn't happen. It didn't happen.
No, it happens for so long.
But the kind of label that's for me, because we were not used. I think we're still not used to find a label that puts the art and the artist first of everything.
Exactly.
And this is something that I don't know if people will realize the kind of legacy that these guys have. Because I don't know, we were used to get signed or to work with people that obviously they want to make a profit with you, and I'm okay with it. Yeah. But when it comes so clear to you that it's like this, how it works, you find yourself in a position to say, okay, so they are using me, so okay, let's try to use them to get somewhere. And suddenly you have a label that they put first art, and they make it so clear to you that they don't really care about the business. They of course they need the business. They have to make a profit also to keep going. But you feel loved, and you feel, I don't know what kind. No way they gave not only amazing products, because what they have built with us and with the rest of us are amazing products. But also kind of say like hope. No hope that things can be done, can be done in a way where art goes first.
Exactly.
And can be done well, can be done good. And that was amazing to find this at stage of a band that wasn't really a band. Actually, it was like three guys trying to do something. But
it's great to think that they had the foresight to see what the potential that was there. I mean, it obviously came solely from the love of music and from the song that they heard from me. Like there has to be something there to make them make a call. Like someone like Elusive to come knocking on your door isn't something that happens every day of the week for every band, you know. So
so that when I think about it, I still don't believe it, because
and what they've released for you, I mean, as you said, it's an art form nearly in itself, isn't it? You know, these records that they're releasing, the artwork, the detail, the attention to detail, the sound, the quality. I mean,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's crazy. What's going on behind all that? The amount of work, of long talks, discussion with guys in with each of them, because everybody have his role inside, and you see the passion on everything they does. Even if it's one for the visuals, another one for the logistic stuff, the other one for promo. I mean, everything that's going on there, it's all driven by passion. And that's amazing when you find this. It's amazing.
Yeah. So obviously you've done your 2 albums with Elusive Sound. I don't really know what the future holds for them as such at the moment. I don't think they're too sure themselves. I suppose we're all in hope that it continues, but I think it potentially could be coming to an end. So have you been looking that far ahead as to where the band goes next, or where you're going to go next? With regards a record label or someone to talk to?
Honestly, no. I mean, I know that next there's more music, because there's already music. There's something already cooking. So there's more music, and hopefully being released pretty soon. How is it going to be released?
Who knows?
And I guess it's not that smart from us to think like this. But again, maybe we come back a little bit to our origins, where we think about, I mean, I know one thing I remember telling to the guys when we started the band, said that I was so fucking tired to create music and also keeping it in the closet, waiting for the right deal.
Yeah.
Because when my previous band ended, I ended that band with 20 songs already finished, not released, because it wasn't the right label, because it wasn't the right time. So this is something I don't want to do anymore. I didn't want to do that right now. So what's next for us? I think it's the short answer will be more music. How? I don't care. I don't really care.
So that idea of waiting with music and nothing happening just left a bad aftertaste, really, didn't it? It's not how you want to showcase your music. You know, you want to get it out there. The last thing you want to be doing is sitting on music for a year, 2 years. That can't be good mentally anyway for you. Like, is there a chance you could release your music through Bandcamp, dropping maybe a couple of singles along the way, keeping us happy for a while?
It's possible. I think we want to be flexible. I mean, to survive as a band that, well, we have other jobs, so we have to be flexible, and if we want to release music, we have to do it, because this is what we want. We want to make music and make maybe visuals around it because we like it, but we don't really care about anything else.
I get you. Yeah. It's solely about the music, really, isn't it?
I think so. And if something has these years with Elusive has shown us is that sometimes things comes because maybe it's the right time, or maybe, I mean, of course you have to work, and you have to work hard if you want to get someplace. But the most important for me is to keep going. And for us right now, what drives us is to create music. And maybe we released in Bandcamp, as you said, and maybe then we said, let's try to knock some doors. Maybe we do it, maybe not. I don't really know, but we don't plan it like this, because right now what drives us inside is we have 2 songs already recorded, already mixed it, waiting for mastering. We know we're going to release a split album with some friends from Japan. And this is going to happen. And right now we're working on a video that we're looking forward to shoot by the end of the next month. And that's something that moves us.
That drives you, doesn't it? Yeah. And I'm after did I get an exclusive there? Did I have about a split?
Yeah, you got
an exclusive. Can I use that?
You got that.
You're not going to tell me to edit that later on, no?
No, don't worry.
That's good. Can I ask you, sorry, go ahead.
No. I mean, that's all.
Like you when that album Between Dark and Light came out, what made it unique and different to me was it was very classically influenced, like, wasn't it? There's a lot of tremolo guitar playing with a classical vibe. Like, I mean, is that just in your music anyway? Is that what you grew up listening to? I know, Carles, you came from a metal background, like, and obviously maybe things were a bit heavier in that death metal band, but did this tremolo playing and this classical influence, was that even there in your band, we'll say?
Yeah, a little bit, because honestly, it was so hard to place that parts in there. All my mates were always banning all this stuff. So I did what I could. But yeah, because for me, as you said before, there are some moments on your life that you can really see the biggest influence in your music as an artist, you mean?
Yeah.
And there's a point that when I've been always a lot into classical music, but when I discovered post-rock, it will be surprised to see that for me a big influence it was Mono from Japan.
Yeah.
And when I realized that what these guys were doing was like translating classical music into a band formation, for me that was something kind of so inspirational for me. So by that time I was playing in a band that it was like playing short songs, so square with a kind of I mean, it had to follow always the right same path. So it was the only guitar player playing there, so doing stuff instrumental like I was listening in bands like Also God is an Astronaut, or some songs that I really loved at the time. It was so hard, which is also, it was good for me because it gave me room to do whatever I wanted. Closed doors,
Exactly.
at my studio.
You have this opportunity to express yourself, really, don't you, when you went down the road?
And yeah, I think that Mono was like the first kick in my face at that time. And then I realized that, okay, that's right. If I can play like this with all tremolo stuff, with all these kind of effects, I really can translate all this classical stuff that I like, that I love, but it's made by instruments that I don't play, like cellos, like violins, like all that. So, but I can translate it to what I know to do, that is play guitar. And that opened me a new world that was so into it. Was good.
Interesting, yeah. And what about yourself, Carles? Like, to come from, as we said, like the death metal scene.
Yeah, but for me,
and to come into BLAK, was it an easy transition for you?
Yeah, because actually the last album I recorded with the death metal band, we always said it was a post-death metal album. I mean, we were listening at the time, I think it was 2008. I saw The Ocean in a little festival, the German band. Then I saw Isis and Pelican in Primavera Sound most at the same year, more or less. And it was a huge impact on me. I wanted to make death metal, but with that emotional point that I wanted to feel very, very emotional when I played. Then we started making songs more focused in this kind of in this case of emotion, but with death metal elements. I mean, we had the riff, the normal riff for the death metal, but we take it longer. We take it to more to have an impact in the.
I get you. Yeah.
So yeah. So,
like,
so it was
your
natural.
music is so heavy. I mean, people forget that. You know, when you talk about cinematic music and post rock and everything else, the heaviness and the weight in the guitars when you hear them, when you reach those big crescendos and you hit those big breaks, you know, it is metal. Like it's metal music. You know.
Yeah, that's fine that you say, because this is something that we get to hear a lot when we play live. People come to us saying, wow, when you play the heavier parts are even heavier in live, and then you bring back your old heavier, you know, because especially when there's friends of ours that they know us, they know our background, they say, okay, when you play live these heavier parts, then you bring back the guys you were like some years ago.
Exactly, yeah. Your teenage and your late 20s come crashing through, yeah.
Yeah.
And I suppose before we go too far ahead, a sneak peek, you said you have 2 tracks written and ready to go, yeah?
Yeah.
Where would they lean? Would they be heavy tracks? Obviously, I can only imagine they're a very emotive and
So the full story. We were talking with a friend of ours from Japan. It's called Hiroshi. He has a band called Me, MYY and a dot.
Okay.
And it's a band that I love. I love it. You could relate their music to what we also do in a different way, more I would say in a Japanese way, because I think they have a way to make melodies, and they are so good at it. It's a bassless band. They don't have a bass player. They are 2 guitars and a drummer. Okay. So we're talking. I said we should do something. We should do something together because I love what you do. I think they like so they said let's try it. And we had this idea for half a year, and then we decided at the end of the last year to put some songs together and to make it happen.
So are these 2 tracks going to be on this split album or the split record with this band?
Well, 2 tracks means 20 minutes music.
Yeah. So, typical BLAK style, yeah.
Yeah. So we're really excited about this because I'm not going to say that it's different than what we have done, because it have some stuff that we wanted to do. Like, for example, we wanted to, maybe because when we did the other records, we were thinking more through, it's not that we knew that we had to make a record in not in a certain way, but like we had to fit the music inside the record. So maybe we felt, I don't know if expression, I don't know, but maybe here we have gone a little bit more far. Okay. Like, for example, one song, there's a choir singing with us, and this is something that we wanted to do and we get to do for this. So we have like a full choir, like
16 people.
16 people singing with us.
That's a choir to me, Carles.
So it's a choir. Yeah.
It is.
Maybe not Hans Zimmer style, but yeah, it's a choir. But this is something that we're looking forward to do, and we got to do here.
And are you excited about releasing these 2 tracks? The fact that they're done, is it easy for you guys to say, okay, there's 2, let's put them aside a while? Or are you eager to say, I can't wait to let people listen to this?
Well, yeah, it's always a kind of, you have this fear as to because you know when you create instrumental, long, sad, slow music, it's always hard to show it to people. I find this too much. This is something that you have to give, to someone, you have to forget about it. And then to expect that someday someone comes or this person comes. Because when I show these songs to my friends or in life, I mean, I play it to them. It's always kind of, you have this fear because all reactions are so slow. It's not like you are having a 3-minute song that in 3 minutes everything happens. No, that's
you're waiting to see if anyone starts yawning, is it?
So yeah, and we're looking forward. I'm looking forward personally to put them out to see what people think about it.
Yeah.
But one thing at a time. And right now we're thinking about how we're going to create a video for this.
Okay.
For one of these songs. We're a little bit focused. The way we work, I think, is a kind of weird as a band because we go for, I don't know if it's like for projects, but I mean, like right now we are so focused on the video, and maybe we'll go nothing else. Okay. Nothing else. The only thing we'll talk about will be this, and when this will be done, maybe it will be the artwork, or maybe it will be the more songs for another release.
I get you.
Does not mean that it's not happening because, for example, for my side, I'm already writing new songs, but as a band, we focus on one stuff because maybe that's the only way we know to function. I don't know.
If that's how you work, that's how you work, you know?
So right now, I'm not really thinking about the day we'll release. So we're so focused on what's next to do. And I know that next is the video shooting.
Yeah, and I'm assuming I can get this impression, and I actually wrote the word perfectionist down here because you have the video at the moment, I believe you won't rest until it's 100% perfect. Am I right?
Yeah, this is
don't be afraid to say yes, Eloi.
Yeah.
The thing is that at the end, what gives you the end is the time. It's not that you say it's perfect; it's that you have to end it.
Yeah,
you
do have time constraints, so
yeah.
Sometimes,
because to make things perfect is like not possible. But this happened when you record an album, for example. When I don't know you, but when I record guitars, wow, it's kind of hard because not hard, but when you always think that you can give more emotion to what you are doing. And then maybe you go back to what you record 2 days ago, and you listen with fresh ears, and you say, "Wow, that's not enough," or maybe you say, "Wow, okay, that was good." When you play with the mood and with emotions, it's hard to get to at that point where you say, "That's perfect."
Yeah,
because maybe there's not perfection.
I get you, and I suppose that brings me to a question I was going to ask: between Darkness and Light, the album, like when you look back at it now, it's 5 years old. Is there part of that album that you can look back and say, fuck it, we should have done a bit more here, or we should have cut that back a bit? Or are you happy with that album?
I am so happy.
I'm happy. I'm very happy. You could change things always, but I think it was our first release. It was recorded. I mean, he records guitars here in his home. I recorded drums in one day in a home studio. So I think the result was very, very good for the resources we had at the time.
Incredible, yeah. As I said, it's one of those albums that will forever stick with me. Like, you know, it as you say, lads, it's dark, but it's still beautiful. Like, you know, there's moments that the emotion in it is incredible. Like, so as you can see, it's actually behind me here. I have it on the wall, especially for the occasion. Like, but touring that album, how has it been? And we say pre-pandemic, before the pandemic kicked in. How was touring going, and how were people taking your music? Because what audiences were you playing to? You know, was, as you said, there wasn't a big scene in Spain, like as such.
No. Well, actually, we have not played that much. That's for sure. We're not a band that we tour a lot. Okay. Because, well, I don't know why, but that's reality. And we have not played that much in here. I don't know, maybe we have done half gigs outside Spain and the other half in Spain. So we suddenly met audience from outside, from our zone. But we got to play a couple of times in here. And that was something new for us, because we're coming from, at least for me, we're coming from kind of background where you do a show, you take a look people in front of you, and you wait that they move. They move. If they move, that's cool. If they don't move, something's happening. And here, suddenly, you get to meet someone, comes to you, say, "Wow, I've been crying all along from the last song."
Yeah.
Or I mean, and this kind of talking with someone from the audience, that was also new for us, and to me, playing with BLAK gave me new feelings, and something that I didn't know I would find after a show.
Okay.
And it has been really, really, really good.
Yeah.
I think for me, it has been really, really good, because you get to that moments of minimalism where you are playing so quiet and you can hear the silence. That is not really a silence, because there's people there.
Yeah.
And that moments, especially that moments, are amazing. There's something that you only can create with, I think, with this kind of music that is so
emotively charged, isn't it? Yeah.
And that's something that we got. I think you get to feel how people feel at that moment. You know, that's
the magic of it, isn't it?
That's the magic, and it's funny because you feel it, but the reality, you see nothing. You see people standing up there with a sad face, and that's all. But that moment, that moment that gives you life.
They are the happiest sad people you will ever meet. You know, people standing in front of you in the audience. You know, I mean, like the music he created, as you said, like it's. The audience doesn't show the energy because it's not like a death metal band where there's a mosh pit and people are copying themselves off the stage. Like,
exactly.
I'm assuming you can still feel that energy, even though it's more somber and it's more sort of just shoegazy and head bopping. Like, but you can feel that energy surely on stage, yeah.
Sure. And then there's the heavier parts. And when we go to heavier parts, you unleash everything. I mean, then there's another side of our band, and then, but even if you don't, I mean, you don't. I'm not at that. If I try to imagine how I feel at that moment, it's not that I expect. I don't take a look people how they are reacting.
Okay.
Because everything with that, I think, is so visceral. You can say visceral, no? Huh? So from our guts, you know, so you move or I move how I'm feeling at that time, at that moment. And I think that people, and I think as well for the rest of the band, I think that the audience gets to see this.
Exactly, yeah.
And they don't see someone acting for the stage. And for me, that's so important because I've played with bands that we are in a way acting. Yeah. And we knew that we were moving our heads from top to the floor, we're getting a kind of reaction that was better than if we were standing up. So at the end, you feel what you do, but you put a little bit more. Yeah. And what's good with, I think, what we do, I guess I could speak with a lot of bands, is that when you connect to what you do, it comes naturally. And when it comes from inside and naturally, people gets it also.
Exactly. Yeah. I suppose I probably should have reversed what I said earlier, because I think the audience or the crowd probably play off your energy when you play on stage. You know, it's not the other way around, really. I think when people see you guys getting so into your music and feeling the music yourselves, that it relays back to the audience, you know. And Carles been on the drums in the background.
For me, it's special. I mean, for the first time with BLAK, I got goosebumps playing live. That's a thing I never felt, and now each concert we play, at least a couple or 3 times, I get these emotions.
Amazing.
And I'm back there, so I'm alone. I feel the energy, and that's right for me.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fantastic for me.
Yeah. Brilliant. Guys, before we actually step on towards your new album, I just want to play a track here from Between Darkness and Light, and probably every track is a favorite, but I suppose Black Drips in the Sky has some incredible tremolo playing, and it just explodes into this moment. As you said, this has to be hair-raising stuff, this track, for people. So I'll just give everybody a listen. This is Black Drips in the Sky, guys. Okay, guys, there you have it. That's the incredible Black Drips in the Sky from the amazing BLAK. Now, guys, I suppose we want to sort of step forward post-COVID times, really, and talk about the new release that you have, El Tal de Sella. Another incredible album. Really, really is truly an amazing album. And again, it got the elusive treatment, lads. The workmanship and the thought process that must have went into creating this record, both musically, aesthetically, it's mind-blowing stuff. Like, I mean, you must be proud of this.
We actually are.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
When we got the records at home, I remember there's that one of the moments that you really realize what you have done.
Yeah.
Not because music, the tracks were done way before. So you have, when you create an album, it's always special, but like it's a long process. It's not like suddenly you have everything and you say, wow, yeah, here we are. No, it's like first you do the demos, then you start recording, then you have your songs mastered, but there's nothing around. So everything's built slowly. But when you get to the point that you get the records in your hands and you take a look and you see what you have accomplished, at that moment, then you realize. And for us, I think this for me is, well, I'm so proud of it, because not musically, for everything, for the product. I like what I thought.
Yeah, it's everything. It's everything about it. Yeah, it's everything about this album. The concept behind it and the story behind this album. Do you want to shed some light on it? I suppose maybe Carles might do this. He tried to catch me out with the title. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, actually, I try to talk about how we how we see things, how we take a Greek story that it's a myth, but it's not necessarily important that it's Greek, but I thought it would be a good idea because it's like the Greek, ancient Greek is like the initial European culture. And then we take a story about a woman who has a struggle with an invader, his father, and I wanted to think about how we read this story, how we, as for example, men, heterosexual, we can we read this story, how we can judge this woman, or what is the vision we apply to this woman. And I wanted to expand our horizons, maybe politically, but also it's accompanied by a poem by a Syrian poetess, which I like a lot. I wanted to put like a collage of artists I admire, and I wanted them to be woman. Because the first album was very, I think it was all men. It was Miro, the painter, Ian McEwan, the writer. I mean, it was all men. And this time I wanted to be woman. I admire writing.
Very good. Was it sort of your concept initially? So was the blueprint for it, Carles? Yeah. Was it your?
Well, here's the thing. I think that we work a little bit in parallel, and maybe all this concept, more concrete concept that he was talking about, the words on the idea, the great idea, it was more maybe at the end. But for example, I remember a lot of parts, guitar parts, were made thinking about at the end. This is how I try to do it. Thinking about a daughter talking to his dad, or a daughter talking to his mother. And that was the kind of how I said, it's like the way that sometimes I imagine guitars, or it's like this is like a conversation between people. And I, at early stages, when we said that maybe this was the could be the first idea, ideas of a woman struggling or a daughter struggling. So this basic idea of a conversation between a woman or a daughter with a father or mother, that was what started a lot of songs. But then everything about that Carles said came, I think it came at the end.
But for me, the initial, all the idea was born because listening to the guitars, I felt like a spiral, a spiral. And this feeling made me think about inertia. And then think about inertia. I started to think about people jumping to conclusions too early, and all the concept was born from there, from the idea of an inertia.
And that's the magic with this little music, because, and sometimes I ask to myself, what's the point having the concept? If it's like the second song from the new album, The Sense of Pathos. The Sense. It really have a concept behind what it's written at the first part. We really think it through, that anybody knows. And anybody will realize what we have done, for example, with the guitars, and it's not important. But and sometimes that's why for me, it really has a meaning. It has a sense. It has a logic why one guitar does something, why another guitar does another thing. And this is about this conversation I was talking before. But when Carles heard that, he saw spirals. And at the end, we got to connect everything, because for me, it's like it's so clear that the first 2 minutes, there's my guitar is Dora saying no to his dad, because his dad wants to force her to do something in some way. So she says not, but then from minute 2 to 4, I do the same melody, but backwards, while the rest are keep going.
Yeah.
And for me, that had a sense, a meaning, because sometimes you do something because they make you do, but the only thing you want to do is the contrary.
Exactly.
Backwards, because you want to. You don't want to sometimes follow the path they're telling you to follow.
Yeah. It's a hard thing, guys, to do, isn't it? To express a story in instrumental music.
It's so hard.
You know, this concept is in your head and it makes complete sense to you when you're playing it and you go, this is what I'm doing. But it's great to get an insight into that because...
Yeah, but then I think that doesn't matter. I mean, it matters for us when you create it.
When you create it, yeah.
But when the song is out, it isn't yours anymore. So, I mean, people will take it. And I remember, I don't know if it was this song or another song, a guy writing us saying that he makes him think about his dad he had lost a few months ago, and a little bit more. He's found a little bit more about some childhood, and I don't remember which song it was, but of course it wasn't meant or written.
Yeah,
about the same feeling that he was feeling at that time listening. But at the end, it doesn't matter. If it works for us when we create it, that's right. Sometimes I have the feeling that maybe it doesn't matter if we build a concept behind, because we are not singing. So
well, the last track we get to that soon. Yeah,
we are not usually singing, but I guess if it works for us when we create, that's the point. And then,
well, I suppose that's the other side and the other beauty to this style of music, isn't it? Because you can take what you want from it, lads. I mean, music affects everybody differently, like, you know. And there's no story with words to sort of lead you in any direction. You literally take what you want from the music. It brings you where it needs to bring you, which is a beautiful thing when you talk about post-rock and post-metal and all these styles of music. Like, as you said, ye having a story helped create this. But as you said, everyone can adapt it to themselves and to their own lives. You know, it's amazing stuff altogether. I'm intrigued by the storyline here, but I'm just like, tell me. Go ahead, Carl. Sorry.
Yeah, in this song, Descends al Pathos. If you hear, for example, at some point, drums go at a 3/4, and guitars goes 4/4. So they are in a conflict that I think that maybe people are not thinking, wow, this is a conflict. But in a way, you can feel there is something that is not working at some point, and then it goes out, and then it goes together. So there is a thing that you can transmit. You can translate from it. Okay. But well, each one has its personal sensation.
Exactly. And I suppose I just touched on it there. How did the vocal element come into the final track? Was it meant to happen, or was it a case of the emotion? For me, the emotion in the track gets so big and so great that you can't even express it anymore. Music. So how else can you do but fucking shout? You know, that's where I see it.
I remember doing that demo, and that was at the point that where you listen the voice. I was thinking, how can we go higher in an emotional? I mean, we're already full distortion with guitars. We're at almost on our maximum. So
like you're at 10 already. Like
we're already at 10. So okay, how can we bring something new and even more emotional than what we're doing right now, without losing the rawness, the I don't know, not aggressivity, but you know, I don't want to go soft, because I know that if we go soft, we can get in an emotional moment and nice. But no, I want to keep things raw. I want to keep things like kind of extreme.
Yes.
How could we overpass the 10, you know?
Yeah.
And we had this idea, why don't we strip out everything? We leave only one guitar, but we bring in Eloi, not me, the other one, singing, screaming, and screaming in a way that maybe not control, also so raw, but
Yes.
in a way that you can easily relate, because it's a kind of singing from inside, from your gut, also, that anybody could be singing like this. I mean, it's not disrespect for him. I mean,
No.
he did really, really well, but it's not that kind of control, perfect singing. And I think that was what we were looking for, is what we got to do, and gave us what we wanted at that point.
It was such a unexpected thing to hear on my first listen to the album. You know, as I said, when you hit the speak crescendo and you're going so high and you're saying, oh, this is it, like, and then the vocals hit, you know, and as you said, it's not a measured vocal, it's not trained, it's just energy, like it's just raw energy, just in vocal form, basically. Like, yeah. And he must be happy with that. Was he happy with his vocal performance?
He had a hard time rehearsing, because, well, it's not, he lived in a nice quiet home in a small village.
Really small village, like 20 people.
Like, if you rehearse at home that part,
okay,
all the village knows that you are in pain, screaming something out.
Yeah.
So that was
so he had to notice his neighbors that he was really recording.
Ask for permission.
It was not a murder or something.
But
are we sure?
Then Eloi also had sang before in other bands, so he knew how to do it.
So he had some bit of experience in screaming before. Yeah. So, brilliant. I know, again, we talked briefly about a third album. Obviously, you have a split EP coming up down the track at some stage. Are you all, I know, and as you said, you're sort of looking to, the video was next, that's what's on mind now, and you're probably not looking too far ahead with new music, like, but there will be a third album that is on the agenda, yeah?
Yeah, it will be. Okay. Yeah, it will. That's the plan. It will be a split, so it will be between me and us, BLAK. But yeah, that's really, I think it's going to be nice, because what we're doing, I like it. I think it's something we bring something new, not really different from what we have done before. But it brings something else, and that's always nice to.
Brilliant. Another thing I wanted to speak about as well. I mean, you've dabbled in soundtracks before, and you seem to be heavily involved in sort of cinematic styling and in creating videos, which I watched over the last week or so. Is that a big part of BLAK, or is this sort of something very different? You know, you did that single track for I can't remember the film now, but.
Boston.
Is that something you want to do again, or was that just one of those things that just came and just happened?
Well, let me think how it's the thing. As Carles said before, we all have our jobs side. Obviously, we're not living on music. And in my case, I work in a creative and post-production studio where we do video stuff and post-production stuff for anything. And so I'm so involved in video productions and cinema and this stuff. So yeah, for me also is another way to express, and I feel comfortable, and I know that Carles is also a huge fan of films in general and cinematic art in general. So it was so easy to meet ourselves on this.
Yeah.
And I remember that when there was this, when we released the first song, Vostok, we came at our studio. We were doing at that time the post-production from a short film called Vostok. and I had I had to the music of this short film, and I had BLAK song Bostock. I was working on that song at that time, but I had like a lot of demos of Bostock, but in instrumental orchestral instruments. And I said, why don't and also was fitting so good the mood and the idea of that short film. So that's how it started. At that moment, I said, okay, let's do Bostock as a band, as a BLAK band. At the same time, let's try to do this soundtrack. And we kept going, and it worked well. Then I've done personally some other stuff in some soundtrack stuff, but not as a band.
Okay.
No, not as a band. It's something that's so interesting, but you know, it's something that it has to come to us. We're not going to look for to look for, no. But it's something so interesting because suddenly when you get to put some visuals to your music, it's a little bit like when you sing and you are saying to someone what you want to hear to express. In a way, when you put visuals, you do this thing. You are explaining a little bit more clear to people what you want them to feel, which is not always good, but it's another way to express it. A lot of times when I create music, I try to visualize something. Sometimes I even put images or videos or anything on screen while I'm creating, because I like sometimes to relate music to visual. It's something that I like, and because it gives me another feeling. And then I like to go BLAK and to only hear the music and to see how it works on. So for me, it could be a nice experience to do another soundtrack with the band, because it's a nice experience.
Yeah, I suppose it does. It sort of relates back to your work in a way. So your love for that, I mean, it just happened to overlap with BLAK, I suppose, really, isn't it? It's not really essentially a BLAK thing to have this love for soundtrack. I mean, BLAK is separate, really, isn't it? You're saying to that whole cinematic scene.
Yeah, it's more about feeling. I mean, even if I like my last work I've done for a soundtrack, it's something actually comes from a BLAK song that not released yet, but it's something that I have working around. And it's at the end, it's about feelings. When you see some ideas, some visual ideas, and something comes in mind that it could work good, you start working on it, and you work from the feelings. And maybe if it's this TV show gets released, it will have something from the essence of a BLAK song, but maybe it won't be played as BLAK. It will be played from maybe two different instruments, but the essence will be there. And that's also the magic, because it could work in one form, and then to build it as a full band and work also, because, well, that's the magic of music. When we, because I think that the way that we create music, it usually comes from a minimal point that we want it nice from the simpleness. No, I don't say like this. Something when, we are so focused on the melodies, I think. It's where I went from melodies. Sometimes if I had to put like two groups in the post-rock instrumental, there's, for me, the ambient bands who are so good doing ambient stuff, and that they bring to one point to another one, and you don't know how they got to do that. I think we're more focused on melodies. It's like one of our guitars is like it was singing to you all the time. And we usually start building songs from that point, from that single melody.
Right.
That's interesting. And because it's so easy to translate that melody to other ways to be
sung. Yeah. That's an interesting way. You're right. So that's just another little insight there. You base it around something as simple as a melody, and a song grows from that. Is that often the case?
Yeah.
Normally it's like this. Yeah.
Like you said,
because
there's a lot of bands do this whole as ambient sounds and these big atmospheric synths scraping across the songs. Like, but you start with something a lot more basic. It's basically a simple melody.
melody.
Even in drums, we always start with. I think practically all songs can be synthesized in one pattern, a short pattern that grows along the song. So it's more or less the same process.
Yeah,
like, that's another thing in your sound as well, Carlos. Like the drums, it's not your bog standard, almost drum machine like stuff. Everything is very different. You have different patterns. You play off different surfaces. I don't know what you make the sounds from. Sometimes it's very different. It creates a different mood completely. Do you try out things just for the sake of it? Step outside the box?
I think a lot about it. So maybe I think more than I play sometimes when I'm creating an album. And actually there are some patterns that I forbid myself to play. Okay. Because they are so repeated along post-rock or other genres that I don't want to play that. I even try not to. Normally, a pattern is made by the hi-hat, snare, drum. So I try to lose this kind of pattern and maybe start with tones and keep putting things, but in a different way. I try a lot.
It is another layer to the BLAK's music. You know that. I think the drums does give it another dimension completely. It's different from everything else.
I think it's one of the keys of our music because I remember at the beginning when we started doing Between Darkness and Light, in a way it was not driving me crazy, but I wasn't expecting at all his ideas and all these drums that he said that he tried to forbid himself to play are the ideas that I was using to build the demos. Because I'm not a drummer myself, so I was building demos, and sometimes I was adding some drums to play along to be able to hear some stuff.
Exactly, a simple pattern. Yeah. But
then I gave that to Carlos, and he came with that. At the end, this is really good because I think that I would say that almost everything you came with, it has stayed. I mean, we have not done big. We have evolution, but his ideas, even if at that time were seeming kind of crazy from the point where we started, at the end were the right ones. And I think that's also part of the magic of what we do, that we allow us to do a little bit what we want. Yeah. And if Carlos says that's how I see it, that's how it makes me feel, and I think that's how it has to work, I'm okay with it.
What Carlos says goes.
No.
When it comes to drums.
When it comes to drums. Yeah. That's the point. When it comes to drums.
Don't argue with Carlos when it comes to drums. That's touring. It's as I said, I'm always keeping an eye on your websites and your Facebook feeds and everything else to see when you're playing and where you're playing and trying to work out a plan to get to see you somewhere. Have you anything planned over the next few months?
Hard to say. Try it.
No, actually, we don't have anything planned.
Nothing planned
because it's very difficult for us to try to find the moment. And then, for example, we had some people from Denmark that they wanted us to go there, but Denmark is very far from here. So for us that we live in not the extreme Europe, but we live pretty far from everything. It's difficult because when you want to go to another country that is not France, you have to make at least 2 concerts in the trip. So
I get you.
I mean,
the logistics of it doesn't work. Like, does it?
I mean, this is what a lot of bands are doing this, and it's good. And we have done that in the past. I mean, we've done I've done nice tours, but right now we have to take into account a lot of stuff, and like everything, everybody has his own life. That side. So when we want to play, of course, we love to play, but it has to come on the right moment. It has to come on the right. We have to be. It has to be doable.
Yeah.
And as Carlos said, that's why I hesitate a little bit to answer your question, because of course we had proposals. We also still have some things on the table, but it's not close yet because for us, we are not a band that we think about touring as much as we can, because we know what it means for a band like us to go on the road, because it's hard. And I think it's okay that it's hard, because I think every band has to live, has to know how it is to go on the road.
It's something to experience as a band, isn't
it?
And
to do the first gig, expecting 100 people and having 12, and knowing from that point that you're going to lose money on the whole tour. And I think that's something really that you have to experience.
Yeah, and you have to expect, and you need to put that into your train of thought, isn't it? You know, this isn't what we think it's going to be. There will be losses, and there will be fucking heartbreak.
Because then you get to the success of this tour maybe won't be based on the amount of money that you will make, but on experience. And so, but on the other side, we have already done that with previous bands, and it's not that now we're like, oh no, BLAK is another label, we don't pass through. No, it's more in a practical point. I don't want to put guys on a situation, for example, that they have to start risking their own money on tours, because we have to be clear, we're a band that we could start searching for tours. I know we could do. We know
like it's festival season, so you could find music or find venues. No
maybe
issues.
Festivals are kind of more tricky for us, but we know people, we know bands, we know we could start trying to book a tour, but also know that we could risk money, and we could start losing money. Yeah. So putting guys in this kind of situation, this is something that where we thought that maybe it wasn't what we wanted or what we could afford. So that's why when it comes to think about touring, we want to tour, we want to play shows. Yeah. Just that we have to be, I don't know if it's careful the word, but you have to have your head screwed on here. Like you have to, you can't let your love of playing live take over, because it's a big decision. It's an important decision to make for like anyone that's in a family who has a family life and has kids, and you can't be heading away on tour losing thousands of euros because of it. It's just not logical. Like, but. Yeah. Well, it's harder. It's hard because, and when you have already experienced that, and that,
and exactly,
and it, so you say, okay, it's a risk. It's a nice risk to take, because then you will have fun. That everything goes around it, and all good that will bring to your band and to you personally, because there's a lot of good stuff coming from touring. And there's also a realistic part. It's harder. Sometimes not everybody speaks about it, but
I mean, geographically, where you're situated, I suppose if you were more central in Europe, it would make more sense, and it would be a lot easier to travel, to Germany, Belgium, Holland. If you're more central, but as you said, you're further west, and the scene isn't as big as it should be probably in Spain at the moment. So all these things have to be taken into account, I'm assuming.
A little bit. But hopefully we'll play some shows.
So, because we want to play. Because I want to play. I want to play new songs, and I want to go out there. I'm dying to do it. But but there's this part that we have to manage to
exactly. But it's something that will happen. Want it down the line?
It will happen.
It will happen. That's all I want. That's all I want to hear. I'm going to wait and hope that I get to see you at some stage. I'll even come to your houses, lads. I'll come to your front rooms and sit down and listen to you play if you want. You know.
Okay.
Guys, before I let you go, because I know I'm taking up a lot of your time here this evening, I have my 3 questions that I would have sent to you maybe last week or 2 weeks ago. So these are the 3 session questions I ask all my guests. So I'm going to start with you, Carlos, because I think you're more prepped for this.
Okay,
Eloi.
let's do it.
So yeah, if you could walk into a recording studio and do a cover version of any song, basically, what would it be? Tell me.
I've thought a lot about this,
Yes.
and I can relate this to my pre-band, my death metal band, because at the time I was, the song could be Bloodletting, but Swedish death metal, The Haunted. The Haunted. They have an amazing album called One Kill Wonder. That I've seen them like 4 times live. They don't play songs in this album. They only play the song called DOA. It's the song I don't like in the album. But One Kill Wonder is like a step forward in thrash and death metal that a lot of people didn't see at the time. I think that they were doing something very, very new at the time. But the album was, I don't know, was not rated as I think.
What year was that?
Probably.
Roughly. Are you talking? Is it 15 years ago, 20 years ago?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
probably. I mean, these guys they played before in At the Gates, I do. At the Gates, now it's like, At the Gates, it's an amazing melodic death metal band. But at the time, in '94, when they released The Slaughter of the Soul, most of people didn't realize the importance of the album. And now they have to tour that album from 20 years ago. I think that the album One Kill Wonder is more or less the same, and there's this song Bloodletting that has a good melody. It has an original pattern of drums, and it would be amazing to do this
an amazing BLAK version of that would be impressive.
That metal a song in post-rock.
Interesting one. Nice one. I like it. Eloi, talk to me. If you could walk into a recording studio and cover version something.
Okay, I have the answer.
Yes.
Because I already tried. I tried to do a cover for one song.
Okay.
So but it was too hard. I forgot it. There's a classical song called Thais Meditation from Jules Massenet, I think. Well, it's a classical composition. It's like violin, sometimes played with cello. It's a small song, but the melody in there, it's awesome. That I've always thought that could be a really great BLAK song. Not BLAK song. We could really make something nice from it. And already tried. And it was so fucking hard because the thing with classical music is like suddenly you lose the patterns, that you lose repetition sometimes, and so there's something going on, evolving all the time, and driving you through a kind of story that you have to be really, really good. Where I'm not at that point, that you are able to interpret that on the right way, that you have to make something happen. So it's something I've already tried, and I still think this could be a really good song to cover.
Well, there's no fear in thinking big and aiming high, Eloi. Just go for it. Just do it.
But if you have the chance, try to listen Thais Meditation.
I will. You might just send that message that on to me, actually, so I can check that out.
And I think it's a nice song to hear. Yeah,
I'd be curious to hear that. Right. Question number 2, guys. If you could experience playing live on stage with any band in the world, any genre, any time, any decade, who would it be? And we go with Carlos first again because he definitely prepped here. He knows this stuff.
This is probably my answer is too easy because I wanted to see Pink Floyd at presenting, for example, Wish You Were Here, or Echoes, or even in their live in Pompeii. So
yeah,
I've thought about it. I don't really care if we play. I just want to see Pink Floyd.
But,
so want to be there.
I'm a little bit at the same point because when I was thinking about it, I said, I really don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But I had, I remember the show we did in Toulouse with Bruit, Is Silent Whale Becomes a Dream.
Oh.
It was the kind of Elusive Sound party we did in Toulouse. And I remember watching these two guys, especially Silent Whale, that are a band that I adore. And I remember watching the band doing like a live video at the same time for Peter from Elusive that he was in Portugal. He couldn't be there. And having like goosebumps at the same time. So that's the kind of tours or gigs I would like to do, that you get to play, but at the same time, you get to see amazing bands that makes you feel something. I don't really care if there are so big bands or so no, but the fact that to live this in both sides, no, you get to play and you get to experience a very good show, and that for me, that happens at that moment with Silent Whale's Dream and Boy.
So it's not the case of that experience, that once in a lifetime experience of 50,000 people screaming at you. That's not your moment.
No, not really.
No, probably.
Carlos, you wouldn't say no to it.
No, but actually, for a band I love is Cult of Luna, and I would love to play with them because it's probably the only band I've been listening from their beginning until now and never stopped. So it could be great. I hope someday we can play with them.
I think that's possible, Carlos. I do think that's possible.
It's possible. I mean, I'm not asking playing with Rolling Stones or Muse.
Exactly, yeah. Come on, this is manageable. We could actually work on this one. We could actually work on this. Eloi, do you want to add to your Silent Whale moment, or is that your answer to the question?
No, is that, don't get me wrong, I wouldn't say no to play in a big festival.
Yeah.
Packed with people. It's not that. But when you ask that, I try to remember the feelings that I was having while playing with other bands, because I've also done in the past big festivals. Yeah. And I've also been playing with famous bands or at the same, supporting them. And at the end, you get the feeling from if the band that you are playing with, that you're touring with, if you have a good feeling with them, if they are great guys, if you love their music, and so at the end is what you get. And it's not that I couldn't find a band that I love and say that could be so cool. Yeah. Cool can be anything, and when the more I was thinking about it, the more I was remembering that gig in Toulouse. Yeah, because it was really nice. It was really nice. We had guys from Elusive, not all, but we had some. We had two amazing bands playing together that we loved, or I loved at the end, and it was a great show. So the overall experience was very, very good. So if I could ask for something like the same would be. Would you love to experience that again? So yeah. I saw Silent Whale actually play at Dunk a few years ago, and it was fucking hair raising. Isn't even the beginning to what an experience it was. Yeah. There's some bands. Yeah, what they get to do in live, also in the albums, but also in live was live is even better again. It was it was something special. Final question before I leave you go, so lads, just give me a name of an album or a band to keep an eye on in 2022?
This is more difficult for me because so many. There are a lot, but at the same time, this number of bands sometimes overwhelms me, and And normally I wait until the album comes out. I listen to the whole album, and I don't want to be expecting anything because it's like, I don't know, a feeling that I don't really like. So I could say I want to really listen to new me songs, me, the Japanese band that is going to be
on your split,
on our split. So I wanted to listen to these songs, and I think they're going to be very good.
Yeah.
Nice one.
For me, I don't know. I was thinking about this, but I have no the answer. I know because
you thought more about this than you let on.
Yeah.
Go on.
The last album that has really amazed me, maybe you'll be surprised, but it's a hip hop artist from France called Orelsan. He's a huge artist. He's I would say he's one of the biggest artists right now in France. And Orelsan did an album at the end of the last year called Civilisation, like civilization. I wasn't listening hip hop music since I was maybe 16 years old. But I heard that and I said, wow, that brings something else. And since that moment, I think that it's an album that I'm playing every week. So this is something I could, I think I've already talked to you about him, and I'm talking to a lot of people about this guy, because I think really is good. But at the same time, there are bands that I think that I'm not waiting big bands, new albums from new, but I'm really waiting albums from guys or people that I know. For example, I have two good bands from France. One are called Junon. They are post-metal band. Before they were called General Lee, now Junon. I love these guys. Were friends, and I know they are writing for a new album. I'm really looking forward what they do. And the other friends are called Yarots. Yarots are post-punk. They got to play Hellfest last weekend. And they're very good. They're so extreme. So aggressive, so extreme, but this is what I love about them. That are so extreme. So Yarots, I'm really looking forward what they will do next, because they just released one album, but there's coming more, and I'm looking forward. But because I know them, and because I'm close to them, and I expect more from this kind of people than big bands that I know that will come with new albums. I know that, but maybe
and you have a good idea that it will be good because you do know these bands.
Maybe sometimes you get surprised, but
But guys, that's all my questions asked. I suppose all I've left to say is just a huge thank you guys for coming on to the show. Since I started this maybe 7 months ago, I always wanted to get you on the show, so I was sort of biding my time and trying to build up the courage almost to ask you onto the show, but here we are, we've done it. So huge thanks, guys. Thanks for your music. Between Darkness and Light, as I said, was just a huge album for me personally. Anyway, it just made sense to me. And El Tal de Sia is another mind-blowing album, guys. All I can do is wish you all the best in the future. I really do hope I see you down the road at some stage.
That's right.
Fingers crossed,
Well, thank you very much for inviting us.
You're welcome, guys.
We got the chance to meet in person.
I hope so. And we'll share a beer and have a chat. Exactly.
No, and thank you for the support, because we didn't meet us before, but
no,
your name we already knew you, because you have always been so supportive to our band. And wow, this is something I was not used to it, to have someone, because to have people that really got the band and makes them feel something, and they're so supportive. I wasn't used to that kind of support that we got.
I know.
That's real. So was so nice meeting you finally, because
likewise, guys, likewise. And sure, look, we'll be in touch online anyway. So there you go, guys. That's BLAK. As I said, Huge fan. Thanks so much for coming on. Thanks to Richie, as always, lads, who edits and produces the show, and I hope to see you all in a couple of weeks' time. So take care. Good night.